Okay, we're gonna treat this as a test and figure out if we are live or not later. Let's not worry about it. Early February, today is February 23rd. So we're gonna see, or we're gonna attempt to answer a very simple question. Is it too cold to ride a motorcycle so early in the year? We are in Westchester County, New York, and we're gonna go for a short ride. As you can see, there's still a little bit of snow on the ground, so we're definitely gonna have to be careful, especially for any loose debris on the road, like salt left from the winter. So the ride is gonna be chilled. We have traction control set up as 3, the highest level, and and we have a riding mode C, which is meant for rain or sketchy situation like today. The camera is rolling. Still getting used to my motorcycle, which I'm gonna use for this upcoming season. You know, probably not the ideal conditions to be testing new motorcycle, but as long as we take it easy, we will be okay. We're gonna use this ride to not just test the motorcycle, but we're gonna test our microphone setup as well. Pretty much we are using DJI all around. DJI, I think it's called Osmo 5 Pro camera, which is mounted to my helmet using a chin mount, and we are using DJI mini mics. Just one is mounted on my helmet. It's not mounted very securely, so I'm hoping I'm not gonna lose it. At least that's the plan. As you can see, plenty of salt everywhere. Plenty of salt everywhere, so we're definitely gonna have to be careful. I do have heated gear set up, so there's pretty much no chance I'm gonna be cold on a short ride, as I can always control temperature of my heated jacket. Definitely doesn't feel cold yet, and I'm not even connected. I just realized actually I forgot to connect it. So I'm gonna probably pull over before we get on the highway and connect my heating gears. I don't need to do it right away because we're going slowly, only 27 miles an hour, so the wind chill factor is minimal, and you know, checking air in tires and everything else, it warmed me up, especially since I'm wearing a couple layers, so definitely broke a sweat. The bike feels good. Haven't ridden it since last year. Purchased it last year. It's replacing my 2017 SV650, which, by the way, I do miss it. I do miss it a lot, you know, and you know, the only reason I changed is because I was a little bit too big for that bike. And well, technically I'm too big for any bike, you know, unless it's a big touring bike. But you know, as I was taking longer and longer trips, the elbow band in my knee definitely started to adding to the discomfort on a longer ride. Not to the point I couldn't deal with it, you know, you just have to get out of the bike every hour or so to stretch out, but you know, not a big deal, to be honest, not a big deal at all. This bike is definitely a little bit taller, and I feel like at home. You know, I feel like this bike is more friendly to a taller rider, or at least a rider with a longer than typical leg spans. Unfortunately, my body is built that way. I'm probably 70% legs and 25% body. One of my best friends used to laugh. I have kind of a Turkish wrestler body statue. So, yep, I guess I do. So this bike fits me great. You know, it's not too long when I'm sitting on it, so I don't have to reach too far. You know, I don't feel too stretched out. I feel very comfortable. But at the same time, when it comes to my knee bend, I feel very comfortable right as well. So feels like a great match for me, and I'm looking forward to the season on this bike. All right, I'm gonna turn on a little bit later when we get out of the city and get on the better road. For now, I'm just trying to get my legs and start to feel more comfortable on the bike before start taking it to a higher speed limit. So taking it slowly, first ride of the year, super excited. Definitely missed my bike. I work from home. I'm a finance professional, so I spend most of my time sitting at the desk. So I do enjoy, wherever there's a nice weather, just go out for a quick ride to change, to help my overall mindset. So, all right, see you soon. Okay, looks like I'm not the only motorcyclist on the road. Didn't get too far, and there's at least one other guy trying to get an early start to the season. Awesome. The bike feels really good, especially on these settings. Very safe, not snappy at all. You know, perfect for this type of riding. You know, your first ride of the season, where there could be potential debris on the road. You know, the bike definitely inspires confidence. So that's awesome. You know, Suzuki did a really good job with this bike. I don't think I mentioned on what bike I am, but this is the new Suzuki GSX 8R. So it's a twin engine bike, you know, perfect for younger and experienced riders, you know, to not fast enough to have fun and not too fast to the degree it would get you in trouble, right? So I'm super excited about spending my whole season on this bike this year, and looking forward to many trips and many miles. Hopefully safe trips and long and a lot of miles, right? Last year I did about, on my SB 650, I did over 7,000 miles. You know, the bike was just brilliant in every aspect. So I expect the same from Suzuki. Suzuki's super good about making simple, reliable bikes. They just work, you know. It's definitely important for me, since my bike, you know, spends most of its life outside in the environment. So, you know, in the situations like these, reliability is very important. You know, I live in an apartment building. I definitely have a place to park my garage, A bike is different story. For example, my apartment building doesn't allow motorcycles at all. You know, I could rent in a different apartment building, but I know that a lot of apartment buildings in New York simply don't allow motorcycles. So, and that's a major reason why I prefer inexpensive bikes, because I do want to close by my house, so I can, anytime I feel like it, I can just jump on it and go for a cruise. And not just that, but I want to go, like, you know, when you exit the house, I can swing my leg over a bike and be at the store within a few seconds. So that's a convenience. You know, they definitely more economical, and obviously they're more fun than jumping in your car looking for parking space. Significantly easier to find a parking space for your motorcycle than it is for your car. So, you know, that's one way I've been, you know, enjoying the use of my motorcycle. Going to the gym, going to grocery store to pick up a couple items, you know, super convenient, relaxing, and it breaks my day into like more, no, it just makes my day a little bit more exciting, let's put it this way. Gets me away from my computer, from my office desk, to relax and to disconnect, at least for a few seconds. I did notice that it does help my focus, so when I come back into the office to pick up where I left off at work, I typically have more new ideas or different viewpoint on the problem I was working at, and often I was stuck, not sure which direction I want to go, you know, or maybe I just simply didn't feel like writing a script. You know, the script didn't feel very engaging, right? So by getting this mind break, it allows me to do exactly that. You know, it is just make a break and get a fresh ideas in my head. Helps me to re-engage with my work, you know, refocus and re-engage with my work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We are driving through Scarsdale and we heading to White Plains. I'm probably gonna jump back on Parkway. So I don't feel like driving through White Plains, but I don't know, maybe I changed my mind. You know, I definitely enjoy this lower speed ride right now. You know, definitely feels good. Okay, so we are back. I guess I did decide I'm gonna ride through White Plains, and we are in White Plains right now. We're gonna go through and then jump back on Route 22, which is my favorite road to ride. There's a big water body over there, which I do enjoy looking at it while I'm driving. Obviously, being winter, it's not as beautiful as it typically is. That's because there's no leaves. There's still there's now as big a variety of colors, but still, it's definitely a nice cruise, very relaxing, and you can't go wrong driving by a big body of water. It always puts a smile on your face, no matter where you're at, you know, no matter what season you're in. You know, there's something about water that puts a smile on most of our faces. Well, unless you're afraid of water, that's a different story. As you can see, many people walking around in White Plains. going out eating, bar hopping, you know. It's Sunday, so we gotta get back to work tomorrow. And after some rain, after some snow, you know, it's definitely nice to get out and get some of that sunshine. There's not a cloud in the sky, so definitely an awesome time to just go out with your friends, go out with your family, and do something outside instead of being stuck in the apartment. You can see, as always, we got cyclists. There's a lot of cyclists in this area, a lot of motorcyclists, a lot of cyclists, you know. So nice to see that we all getting out, trying to enjoy some of this weather while it lasts. And now we're gonna be slowly approaching spring, and you know, spring is absolutely beautiful in Westchester County. So I can't wait to start seeing some green. The bike feels good, feels better than I remember, which is always a good thing when you have a bike and it just puts a smile on your face. You know, you don't feel like you need another one. It just meets all your needs, and it's exciting and it's rewarding riding it, you know. Definitely a good thing. Still not a fan of the headlights that Suzuki puts on their new generation bikes. I love LEDs, don't get me wrong, I think we all do. They definitely increase our visibility, you know, at night and during daytime to the drivers, right? But I feel I do miss the old look of big headlights. You know, I wish instead of them putting those small dual headlights that mounted like vertically on the new motorcycles, they would stick to like old round shape, you know, oval shaped headlight with just LED bulbs. You know, I think that works great and looks, you know, more old school, which I definitely enjoy. Anyway, that's my little rant about headlights and new design of motorcycles, right? Fortunately, we have choices. You can still buy. There's still plenty of bikes that still follow that old design thought process, or I don't know what's the better way of calling it, right? Anyway, see you when I get to Route 22. Alright, so we back. We're about to jump on Route 22, getting closer. I did increase the temperature on my jacket. It's definitely, after a while, it's getting a little bit chilly. And I did turn on my gloves on the lowest heat. My hands always feel warm. I don't have a problem with that. That's why I need separate controls for my jacket and my hands, because it seems that my hands always are a little bit warmer than my chest. So when I tried different solutions without the independent heat controls, just didn't work. You know, I was just my chest was too cold, my hands were too hot. I had to just disconnect the wiring during the ride. Then it was pain to reconnect it. So I splurged and I got a heated gloves with the independent control. They still work as one. They work off the same wiring harness, right? So I don't need more than one. But you know, definitely works pretty well for me. I will stick to it. I don't feel like they have as much as protection as my regular, you know, motorcycle gloves. So I would say that's probably one negative. I wish companies that produce heated gears would pay attention to protection and safety as well. I don't think they do. In order to be competitive in the market, they a lot of times what they do, they pay extra attention to what's it called, to the cost, and you know, installing the heating elements and everything, and the switches on the gloves. You know, they have to sacrifice something, and I feel they're sacrificing the wrong thing. They should not sacrifice the safety, right? So jury's still out if I'm gonna still stick with the gloves like these with independently heated, or maybe, you know, this bike has an option to install heated grip shifts, so maybe I'm gonna go with that, heated grips, as a potential solution. I guess the only issue with that is the heated grips, you know, they hit you only from the bottom. You're still getting top section of your hand, of your palm, of your hand getting cold, you know, so that's not a good thing. So here we are, is by the water dam. Love this area. Doesn't look as good as always. Well, it's winter, nothing looks as good unless you're in the mountains, you know, and you snowboarding or skiing, then probably that's the best time, best place to be during winter, right? Definitely not by big water bodies, but I love it. I love it. It relaxes me. Such a beautiful road, you know. Love riding here. I wish they fixed the surface a little bit. You know, the surface is definitely well, the surface definitely needs some maintenance, right? But it doesn't take away from the enjoyment, at least not to me. Bumps are just part of the process, riding process. As long as your tires are properly inflated, it's not a problem for me. Oops, something happened. Okay, I guess something happened. I wonder why. Looks like a lot of activity here. No clue why. Your Westchester EMS. What happened? Huh, interesting. Somebody's missing, maybe? Didn't see any signs of accident. We did see that fire department with the, I don't know, boats or whatever they had in the back of the trailer. So maybe somebody went ice fishing, and the ice, now that the temperature increased, was simply too thin and somebody fell in. I hope not. I hope whoever they're looking for, they find him and the person is okay, you know. But definitely a lot of police activity right now in the EMTs, you know. So for some of you that don't support police, you know, remember, first responders, you're gonna appreciate them when you need them. Sometimes we take them for granted. They people, they're not perfect. I'm sure there are bad apples there, but that applies to everybody. That's like, you know, that's any job, you know, any church, any faith, any race. You're gonna find bad apples if you look hard enough, right? So support the good guys. Don't let the action of a couple bad apple change your opinion of people that are there to help you in the end when you need it the most. Just remember that part. Man, I don't have the heated pants on. I typically don't need it. My legs tend to stay warm, but I can be honestly, I'm starting to feel a little bit chill factor on my legs. Not to the point that it's uncomfortable, but I know as soon as I stop riding, I'm gonna feel it. I'm definitely gonna feel it when I get off the bike. You know, not probably, you know, this is a long enough ride for me. I'll probably turn around very soon. This was just more, you know, I was worried that my battery's getting drained and I need to check on them. So I used this opportunity not just get my first ride, but recharge my batteries. Looks like they're recharging. They pretty much I think they have to be above 14 volts, and they are at 14 volts right now. So it should. I probably won't need to ride this bike until it gets much warmer. Although this week looks like it's gonna be nice weather, so I'm definitely gonna wanna go riding. Definitely. Any free day I have. I'm still a little bit busy at work. We just wrapped up earnings release. Typical, you know, headaches associated with it. Trying to prepare. Trying to have all the questions answered. You know, there's still a little bit of work left to do. But next month should be much easier at work. So I'm hoping I can use that time to do some riding, you know, especially if the weather clears up. I think a couple days like this, and we're gonna see big improvement in the road condition. If not in a couple days, I would say within the next 2 weeks, the road condition is gonna be perfect to ride. Although right now, I have no problem riding. I mean, as long as you don't do something stupid, going crazy speeds, I mean, this is completely rideable. You know, just be careful around corners. Oh, and here's the fire department, you see? Armok Fire. They have a couple pontoon boats with an engine. Looks like they were looking for somebody. You know, I hope that person is safe and sound. I hope it's not a fake call and we're not risking these guys' life and safety for some prank. We know that happens sometimes too. You know, these guys have families. They want to get back home safely too. So be mindful. If you have stupid ideas, you know, practice pranks on yourself now and others. Anyway, another rant. I hope that my little vlogs won't turn into a rant session. I've always been told I'm a pretty negative person, so maybe I'm gonna use it to leave all that negativity during vlog time instead of bringing into my personal life. So definitely. Anyway, we're gonna do a little bit line splitting. Let's hope I won't get in too much trouble, but it's not really legal. Well, there's no such thing as real legal. It's illegal to line split in New York. I think that doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I think if it's safe, or like, you know, when you get to the light for motorcyclists or cyclists, you know, getting to the front of the cars, it's good for the safety, you know, and doesn't really hurt the drivers that much. Whatever, you're still gonna get faster home than all of the cyclists, right? And you cannot keep up with motorcycle anyway. So I think the law should account for that. Now, California does it. You know, plenty of European countries allow it to some extent. You know, I don't know why we Americans can't figure it out and get with the program sometimes. Why we need to have different laws for different states, or why can't we just, you know, standardize this a little bit more? Like I said, make it efficient. Let the motorcycle get to the front. He's faster than you anyway. You know. You know, I was going back and forth trying to decide whether I should go for a ride. I have to say, I don't remember a day where I was thinking whether I feel like going riding or not, and I decide, yeah, let's go, and I regret it. And I'm gonna say this is the same. I'm glad I decided to say, you know what, I can be safe and I can still go and enjoy my ride on the motorcycle. And I'm definitely enjoying it, despite my legs being a little bit cold. I don't care, it doesn't bother me that much, but the ride is putting a smile on my face. Definitely gonna feel better going back to work tomorrow, knowing that I did something different, you know. Definitely gonna be in better headspace. Awesome. Love this area. I think we right now in Armonk, New York. You know, that's a typical ride that I like to enjoy, going through Scarsdale, going through White Plains, you know, Armonk. Then I take this all the way to Connecticut. Typically, I will go all the way to Norwalk, Connecticut. I will go finish the ride by going to grab my favorite bar pizza, which is I forgot the place name now. Hold on, it will come to me. Colony Pizza in Norwalk. That's typically where I'm gonna end my ride. You know, my turnaround point is I'm gonna have a slice of nice pepperoni, thin pepperoni. Maybe have a seltzer water, maybe one beer, and then turn around, head back home. Typically, since I avoid highways, you know, because once again, I just want to enjoy the nature. I think this area is absolutely stunning, right? So I like to driving through those little towns, you know, finding out what makes them unique or different, or so pricey, right? Because most of these neighborhoods are super expensive, right? But you know, they definitely have this small town homey feeling. So no surprise for people with, you know, with big families. You know, they will pay a premium for good school district and, you know, this homey feeling for their kids. No surprise there. Man, there's a lot of wind noise in my helmet. More than I remember, which is weird. You know, maybe I'm starting to think maybe it's time to change to a higher quality helmet, but then maybe it's actually windy too. You know, so it definitely adds to the noise. Yeah, the roads look pretty good, you know. I think you still have to be careful because there is still leftover salt here, so the traction is probably not as good as it typically in the summertime is. So, you know, just be smart, don't go too fast, but no reason to stay home either. You know, the more on the roads motorcyclists, the more aware drivers are, the more we are, the safer we are, you know. Right now, being the kind of one of the few motorcyclists on the road, it's definitely, you know, car drivers needs to get used to you. So you definitely want to be safer, you know, and take your time, give them time to adjust. Although, thanks to the cyclists, especially if you live around these areas, you know that you can come from, you know, around a turn and there could be a couple cyclists, you know, pedaling slowly up the hill, whatever. So you always have that in your back of the mind that you need to be careful and give yourself, adjust your speed enough so that way you can avoid colliding with a cyclist, right? Which would a little bit harder with a motorcyclist, because motorcyclists typically go significantly faster, which typically matches the pace of a car, or a lot of times significantly faster, so that car won't even catch up. And the only traffic you need to watch out for is people coming from the other direction of which you are traveling, right? So you need to watch out. Typically when they turn into small street, you need to be careful that they actually see you. You know, flash a light every now and then. It will help get the right attention from the driver, right? You know, like I said, you know, always drive aggressively and defensively at the same time. You know, defensively by assuming the worst is going to happen, and aggressively that you're driving fast enough, or that you're getting out of sketchy situation as fast as possible. I'm not saying that you're driving, you know, like an idiot. I'm just saying get ahead of yourself of a sketchy situation as fast as possible, you know. Not sure if you all agree with that or not, but that's the way I think. That's the way I drive a car. That's the way I drive my, you know, bicycles. That's the way I drive my motorcycles. Try to be ahead of the traffic as much as I can be. Limit my chances of being impacted by other people's mistakes. Doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but you know, if you have more cars around you, there's significantly higher probability of somebody making a mistake than if you're by yourself. You know, then you kind of, hey, you're gonna reap the consequences of your own actions. Anyway, I'm just talking for no reason right now, but I noticed that when some people don't say nothing and just ride, you know, I tend to switch over the channel because there is not much context. When somebody is actually talking, I'm gonna try to, it's gonna keep me engaged a little bit longer. Not that I do this for clicks or anything, I don't. It's just, you know, the way I think about this kind of vlogging is for me, you know, to see what I've done when I get old, you know. I have something to go back to, you know, in a couple years. I'm probably laugh at myself and say, oh my god, this guy is talking such a nonsense. What am I doing? What was the point of this? I wasn't too bright. I wasn't too bright at that time. I don't know if you ever go back to you know childhood days. And it's like, yeah, I wasn't the brightest tool in the shed at that time of my life, you know. But I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm very sentimental. I like going back. I like reliving my past, you know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know. I guess you don't like if you're really ashamed of something. Ooh, a little bit dirt. See, this is why you have good. I came to a complete stop and give myself a little bit of time because there was definitely a lot of gravel, more than I'm used to, because like I said, I always drive here. This is my route. This is what I love. Especially here, we have a little bit of a farm or a horse ranch. Jesus, what a nice property. It was just recently sold for a lot of money, if I remember. I don't want to quote it right now because I'll probably get it wrong. But what a beautiful property, especially with those little like rolling hills. What an amazing place. I love stopping here. I have a lot of pictures of my car here. I have a lot of pictures of my motorcycles here. This is like my favorite place to go and take a picture. And as you notice right now, I forgot to turn off my blinkers. So Suzuki, if you're listening to me, hey, maybe it's time to figure out how to turn those off automatically, you know. But then maybe I should just have a better memory. I'm sure I get better the more miles I'm gonna put on. Right now it's my first ride of the season, so everything is kind of a refresher. Yeah, I have to say my hands are getting a little bit cold now. Not too cold, but enough that I feel it. I'm just still in the C mode, and guess what? I don't feel like needing more. It's too cold. So the faster I would go, the less, the bigger the wind factor, and the colder I would feel. So, man, I'm glad I went for this ride. Anyway, I'm turning off. I think that's it for this ride. If anyone is watching or listening, give me some feedback, what I did right, what I did wrong, you know. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thumbs down if I wasted your time. But yeah, if you have an account where you're sharing your ride, you know, post link with that so I can check it out as well. If you're local, if you see me riding, say what's up. Anyway, thanks all. Have a good day. Oh, traction came on. So like I said, it's good. Yeah, I figured that before I just log off, I give you a quick look at my bike. So this is it. So I was wrong. It's not GSX S8R, it's GSX 8R. You can thank Suzuki for that. Suzuki loves their GSX naming convention. So after a while it gets super confusing. Still have the big and ugly tail. I do have a tail tidy in my home. I just hadn't had the time to put it on. The bike definitely gonna have some salt on it, so whenever it gets warmer it will need a wash. Now, before I logged off, just a couple minutes ago, I don't know if you heard me, but when I gave it a little bit more beans, it definitely, the traction control came on. So despite having, being in the safest mode, definitely it was a good choice to just be mindful the weather conditions are what they are, right? And yeah, so anyway, that's me signing off. Peace.